Hey guys, insight number 2. Yes, I'm sitting outside, very cold still. It is very, very chilly here in Hamilton, New Zealand. But sunshine, so why wouldn't you, right? Be outside. Okay, so we did 71 verses 2 and 3, and the rest of that section is quite good. There's some good advice in verse 8. It's like it's okay to ask questions. It's healthy to ask questions. Please ask them. Nothing wrong with that. And then one of my husband's favourite verses is about there's no weapon formed against you that shall prosper. Now, if you're going out there and you really are just being the kindest, most loving, inviting person, then there is no weapon formed against you that will prosper. That's kind of cool. He likes that one. Sorry, noisy road. 72 is the calling of a second bishop in your K. Whitney, and then he in turn then goes, well, what does that mean and how does that work and what am I supposed to do? What's my stewardship in that? So this is really good. It's really interesting to read, but we're not going to focus on that. We're going to go over to section 73 and look at that. So this is some more advice on how to, from the Lord, on how to best preach to those who have been hearing and reading a lot of anti-church literature and gossip, and when there's not much else to do in small towns, it can get pretty bad. So 73 really just gives, it's only short, it's only 6 verses, so we're just going to look at verses 4 and 5 because it really points out a good way to preach, in that he says, and inasmuch as it is practicable to preach in the regions round about until conference, and after that it is expedient to continue the work of translation until it be finished, and let this be a pattern unto the elders until further knowledge, even as it is written. Now, although he's addressing it again to specific people and for a specific reason, it's still really good advice for us, and to make it be a pattern. So, practicable. What a nice word that is. Inasmuch as it is practicable, let it be a pattern. So what does practical schedule look like? What does a practical schedule look like? Because it's not practical to do some things that are really good, but it's not practical to do those 24/7. So amongst all the work we commit to, there needs to be practicality. Rest and work, learn and grow, and be okay with no, not right now. Because sometimes no is actually the most practical thing. And it's something that you're only going to know. And, just if you have the companionship of the Holy Ghost, you're going to know. And it's interesting in section 75, verse 28, it really does say look after your families first. So sometimes it's practical to look after your family first. So I said in the first one that my mission right now, my preaching right now, my inviting is sort of limited to who I meet, but also my calling. And because I'm actually looking after my husband, and I'm looking after me, and I'm looking after other family members and other things. But I also fit in a lot of gospel learning and like this insights that I do, I fit that in all around all of that. So I make it practical to what needs be in our lives. So there you go. But make this a pattern in your life. So don't think you have to be out there teaching 24/7 or giving books of Mormon to your work colleagues, because it's not practical and it's not going to work. So for example, also, it's not practical to read the scriptures in a noisy environment. People might see you reading them, but it's not going to be the best environment for you to absorb the knowledge that you're after. It's also not practical to give a talk in church when no one's watching your kids. That's going to be disastrous, and you're going to be stressed and distracted by your children and not give that good talk. So it's not practical, right? Or this is another one for me I put down. It's not practical to be called to teach Sunday school just as you find out you have bowel cancer, because that's what happened to me. I got called to teach in Sunday school, but it was the same, literally within 2 days that I found out I had bowel cancer. And I just said, look, I have to think about this, and I never got back to them. And I was sick and probably made it to church 2 Sundays in like 6 months maybe. It was not a good time. So that wasn't practical. So I could have said, yeah, sure, I'll accept that calling, and then it just didn't go well. So it's not always practical. Whatever is practicable, and let it be a pattern. It is going to work for you. You can make it work for you. A little organisation and some time and thought into a good schedule, and you'll be fine. Elder Uchtdorf, he said, the perfect place to begin is exactly where you are right now. Isn't that awesome? The perfect place to begin is exactly where you are right now. You can do something today within your mission, within your sphere of influence, to invite someone to just be uplifted by the gospel. Even if they're already a member with a testimony, you can still preach something that's going to just make them feel better today. That's really what it is, right? Inviting and sharing and loving. Simple as. Right. That was the second insight. Stay tuned for number 3. It's coming at you soon.